Good afternoon. This is the Tabletop Mountain Trail, and that's Tabletop Mountain where we're going. But I'm going to break here right now and talk some anime. Jii is a contemporary sci-fi comedy OVA from 1991. Haruka is a perky young nurse trainee at a Tokyo hospital. In her spare time, she kindly cares for Mr. Takazawa, a bedridden old man who recently lost his wife. Their lives are about to be disrupted by this guy, Mr. Terada. He's from the government and he's here to help. This administrator from the welfare ministry has a new idea, Project Z, a fully automated bed for caring for the elderly in their own homes. It takes care of not just health monitoring, but also food, excretion, exercise, entertainment, and even baths, all without getting out of bed and without human supervision. It's a little coldly clinical, perhaps, but it's very cost-effective. Haruka was appalled that Mr. Takazawa's consent wasn't required to drag him into the pilot program, but the enthusiastic Mr. Terada is not going to be deterred. He thinks he's solved the problem of low-cost elderly care and liberated younger family members from unpleasant obligations. But the AI inside the Project Z bed is better at figuring out what its elderly patient needs than its designers. Pretty soon, they're going to be really sorry they put wheels on that thing.
さあ、玄関まで送ろう。だからね、これは一体。まだ独立演算回路は遮断されてるはずなんだ。
Jii is a comedy verging on a dark farce. It's based on an original manga story by Katsuhiro Otomo, who you may recall from an obscure movie called Akira. Otomo also wrote the script and provided the mechanical designs for this video. It's directed by Hiroyuki Kitabako, who previously worked with Otomo on the comedy segment A Tale of Two Robots from Robot Carnival, and also directed JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, which wasn't a comedy by any means. There's a serious subject lurking underneath Jii. It's both a commentary on the way the elderly are treated and, to a lesser extent, on the sacrifices made by their caregivers to provide it. Even Haruko's friends and nurse trainees think she's gotten too involved with the welfare of her patient. She finds a much more sympathetic set of allies among the elderly patients at the hospital. But the OVA also has no trouble making fun of these elderly that it seems to champion. The main problem with this OVA is that at an hour and 20 minutes, there's not enough material to sustain the joke. It's a simple story. Helpless old man gets dumped into an uncaring environment, and the computer decides for itself what the old man really needs for his health and happiness, and then aggressively sets out to deliver it. The old man may need to be rescued, but we're not sure from whom or what. At least for me, the concept ran out of steam long before I got to the end of the video. There are some funny bits, such as when Terada is expounding gleefully on all the wondrous new automated features of his Project Z bed. It can give the patient a bath, feed him, and provide TV or video games, and by monitoring the patient's vital signs, it can administer drugs, or call an ambulance, or a hearse, whichever is most appropriate. The characters are too shallow to invest in. Oh, poor old Takazawa is helpless and babbles incoherently. We can only care about him as an wrinkled stereotype, not as a real person. Terada is a simple government bureaucrat who cares more about his bed than the patient. He's a lightweight villain, to be sure. Haruka cares, but that's all we know about Haruka. She's kind and compassionate. Everyone is perfectly one-dimensional to fit their assigned roles in this story. That makes a computerized bed the most complex character in this video. The art designs are a little simplistic, intentionally so, I think, because this is a comedy. The animation is good-looking, smooth, and fluid throughout. Of course, as an OVA, it's not Akira. The background music is by Akira. Its light, comedic beat is designed to propel the comedy forward. It's adequate, but it's not really distinguished. USMC's English dub voice acting is mildly stilted and annoying. They've tried to amp up the comedy with what they call a script adaptation rather than a straight translation, so the English dialogue will differ from the English subtitles. In some ways, this isn't bad. Terada's dialogue gets morphed into American bureaucratese, and his way of making up an acronym for absolutely everything is kind of funny. USMC's dub makes him into a real acronym brandishing technocrat, or ABT as we call him. but anime purists, or APs or apps as we'll call them, will certainly prefer the original Japanese with subtitles. I give Rujin Z 3.5 stars. It's cute in places, but it just didn't sustain my interest through the entire video. Any point it wanted to make gets lost after the first 15 or 20 minutes. By the way, Otomo-san, you're in big trouble. I'm reporting you to the AARP. Rujin Z is released in North America by USMC in a no-frills, zero extras DVD. Thanks for listening.